then we had to go clear to the other side of the building to get to the exercise room. And you had to walk it.
Oh.
Well, I couldn't walk.
Yeah.
So the first few times, they took me in a wheelchair.
Okay.
Over to rehab. And, you know, maybe stand up and maybe, you know, take a few steps. And I did take a few steps at Grand Rapids. But see, they had a rope onto me, you know, a belt.
Oh, okay.
And they were hanging on.
Just in case you fall, they can
In
hold you
case
back.
I fell.
Yeah.
Or was going to fall, at least they could, you know, get me sit down on the floor at ease.
Gently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rather than breaking a hip.
Right.
And so they said, well, you know, we think you're good enough that you can get back on your feet and go and have rehab someplace.
Oh.
And get that exercise. Now, you know, we never used to exercise, you know, and they'd send you back home or something.
Oh, okay.
But they sent me to a rehab, see?
Yeah.
Well, I had 3 choices, 2 out of Greenville or Lakeview.
Oh, yeah.
And Lakeview Hospital is part of Grand Rapids.
Oh.
Now, see, so it's owned really by Spectrum Hospital, which is
Spectrum.
Which is
hospital
big
group.
hospitals,
Mm-hmm.
in several hospitals down
Right.
there. And so you have to say, I'm in Spectrum Butterworth or Spectrum whatever,
Right.
you know, the name of the hospital is, because there's so many connections.
Yeah.
And then they own these little hospitals. So that's the only way that they could operate, is for somebody else to take over their, or buy their, you know, hospital.
Yeah.
And run it.
Huh.
Because they couldn't operate by themselves anymore. Well, now Sheridan is still a small little hospital. Just
By
Sheridan-
itself?
By itself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And now when I was down there, the one time I stayed, I think, 4 days, but it was because my Coumadin was off.
Yeah.
Okay.
See?
Right.
And I was feeling good, but my Coumadin wasn't right. And my blood flow wasn't right to go through this valve right. See? And the valve is so small,
Yeah.
I have a child's valve. See?
Okay.
A valve is usually bigger than that. And so they had to go to a mechanical valve,
Right.
what they call a mechanical valve.
Right, because it was too small.
Too small. So they put in this little one, and it's a little bit bigger than a dime.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Just a little bit bigger than a dime.
Gee.
But not as big as a nickel.
Okay.
Not as big as a nickel, but a little bit bigger than a dime.
Okay.
Why? I mean, a dime is small.
Yeah.
Well, that's how how small that is. See,
Dime
so
is,
They couldn't
well,
give you a pig's valve.
Dime is that size.
Uh-huh.
So it's a little bit bigger than that,
Uh-huh.
but not as big as this.
Yeah, see?
Okay.
So, okay. There's,
Wow. It's not that much different.
no,
But,
no, there's a 1/16 of an inch.
well, let's see, that's about
That's
5 millimeters there. Wow.
Mhm.
Sheesh.
And so it's made by a company, you know, in Minnesota, the hospital up there. And so they, anyway, I had to stay for maybe 4 days at that time to get my Coumadin just right.
Okay.
But that little hospital, the one night there was only 2 people in it.
Oh, my gosh.
2 people to handle, see?
Wow.
Now, what I'm thinking is, because the doctor came here to pick me up, to take me down there.
Oh.
See, because I had it was on a Thursday, and he's not there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. See? Well, it was too high or too low or whatever it was.
You can never get that right, hardly.
No. And it was way off.
Mm.
And so it would take a while to get it equalized, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
Well, since he wasn't going to be in the next day, they called him from the hospital and said, well, that Coumadin is way off, it's got to do something about it. Well, he lives in Six Lakes. So he come area out of Six Lakes someplace. So he come from there, he called, but you see I was up in front. I didn't get the call. Well, when I come back, I didn't particularly look at the phone, you know. I didn't get the calls because I wasn't here yet. Well, then when I did come, I thought, well, who is this talking? You know, he didn't say who it was. And then the second time he called, and then he said it was Cunningham calling. And, you know, this is the second time I've called tonight. I'll come that way and see if, you know, if I was home. Maybe I was gone away or something. Well, they were playing bingo or something up there, and then they had lunch afterwards. They have a little treat. Well, they were still up there, see, yet, and they came in, and pretty soon I just got in and was maybe listening through the phone, and thought, well, I don't know who that is or what to do. Well, we have to do something about it. Okay. So he knocks on my door, and I'm thinking, well, they want me to play cards. So open the door, here's the doctor. Well, what are you doing in here?
Yeah.
You know? He says, well, we're going to the hospital tonight. We? What do you mean, we? You and I? Oh, I didn't know that. He said,
well, now you know.
He said, I left the messages on your phone. Oh, that's you. Well, I said, I just now heard it, and I didn't know. I mean, and we got to do something about it. Well, hey, what was I going to do about it? You know?
Yeah, right.
You know, nothing I could do. So
They had an idea what to do then.
evidently, but well, of course, they had to take care of the things that they were doing, and then I didn't get waited on until about 11 o'clock at night.
Oh.
But it was 9:30 when he was here, you know, so I had to wait an hour or so, but that's okay. So, of course, by that time, you know, it's time to go to bed. And of course, they put me all up to IVs and put all kinds of stuff on me. So I just laid around for 4 days.
So they got it right, Coumadin right. Well, do you still have somebody come in to help you for physical rehab or anything?
I had rehab for a while.
I mean, somebody comes in here and, yeah.
They did.
My mom had that too. Some
Yeah.
lady come in and.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was,
It's been showing.